In Grand Rapids, the city's Mobile GR Commission held a meeting today, hearing from members of the community about a proposal to put paid parking permits in place in some neighborhoods for those who park on the street. 13 on your side's Josh Albertus was at that meeting and heard from the community.
Community concerns in Grand Rapids as the Mobile GR Commission heard from the public on Thursday about expanding its residential parking permit program. A vast majority of comments at the meeting, both spoken and received ahead of time, opposed the plan.
Think about how all of the families right now are struggling pretty much to pay for everything. The small businesses that are struggling. All that's going to do is take away from them.
Some neighborhoods have already had the permit program in place. That program issues permits for $30 per year to residents and $2 guest permits that last 24 hours each. Permits for these areas can only be purchased by residents and their guests. But the area's leaders are considering expanding it to are in the Heritage Hill East Hills neighborhood and the John Ball area neighborhood.
You can see that if you look at the counts that we just did from the fall that informed us of the current permit proposal, you can see that the parking pressures have now been alleviated up in the Noble neighborhood because of that residential permit parking area.
But some in these areas believe it's just not necessary.
I don't see any need at all for it in our neighborhood. We never have a lack of parking, even with all of the rentals around us.
Others raised concerns for those without required documents under the current program and for those with disabilities.
I have an invisible disability, meaning you can't look at me and say, oh, that's what's wrong with her, that's why she has a service dog. But I also run with a lot of people who are in mobility carts, in wheelchairs, in walkers, et cetera, et cetera. And those of us who actually use vehicles with ramps and have to be in a very specific spot for the ramp to drop, for people to be able to get out of their vehicle, this is not the way to fix it.
And when it comes to potential new developments in the city, some believe the parking burden should lie elsewhere.
If it is determined after the construction of the soccer stadium that protection for residential parking is required, then it should not be the residents that have to bear the burden of poor urban planning.
Overall, for many that were at Thursday's meeting, the current proposal is unwanted.
Josh, if this does go into effect, when would that happen?
Well, no final decision was made today, Juliet, but the board chair spoke about possibly moving any decision back further in the year to allow all the feedback to be considered. But these zones can only be put in place in May or November, so that would likely mean the earliest for these new zones would be in November.
We'll keep following that. Thank you, Josh.